Hey guys, John V here from PhoneArena. Right now you're watching our in-depth video review of the AT&T Z998. It's a prepaid Android smartphone. Most of the ZTE branded smartphones here in the US that we've checked out have been mostly cheap when it comes to the constructions and design. But we're really pleased here with the Z998, especially being a mid-range prepaid smartphone. There are some nice quality elements with its design that we like. For starters, there's a silver trim bezel, it gives it a nice balanced look. It's all plastic, but the rear has a soft touch matte finish to it, so it gives it a nice, very clean appearance, and it's also very resilient to things like smudges and fingerprints. It's not the most compact thing we've held, nor is it the beefiest device out there, but the size of the handset is right there in the middle, just right, and with its balanced weight, it really complements its sturdy construction. What we have here on the AT&T Z998 is a 4.5-inch 540 by 960 TFT display, which gives it a pixel density count of 245 pixels per inch. It's not a 720p display, but regardless of that, it's still a nice looking one, and it works here with this mid-range smartphone. Sure, it doesn't have the most crisp looking details, and you might have to do a lot of pinch gestures in the web browser to view some of the fine text, but it's more than ample for the task at hand. And top of that, with this TFT display, we're very surprised by its vibrant color reproduction. At the widest angles, you see a little bit of distortion, but for the most part, more than usable. And when it comes to outdoor visibility, it's okay as long as you shield it away from the sun. Below the display, we have the usual set of Android capacitive buttons, while up top, we have the earpiece, the light and proximity sensors, and a front-facing camera. Around the trim, we have the volume control on the right side. It's very rigid, has a nice tactile response. Below here, we have the microphone. On the left side, we just have the micro USB port for charging data connectivity. And up top, we have the 3.5mm headset jack and dedicated power button. In the rear, it packs a 5-megapixel autofocus camera, which has the ability to shoot 720p video and also has an LED flash. Along the bottom right corner of the rear casing, we have a single notch which tucks away its internal speaker. When we pry it off here, we gain access to its 2070 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty beefy. You have a micro SIM slot here and also micro SD card slot. So the AT&T Z998 is running a mostly stock Android 4.1.2 Jelly Bean experience. You could tell that with the app panel here, just like stock Android, but you could see some other aspects of it that are a little bit different, and we're gonna go into it. But for the most part, it's not really obtrusive, no enhanced features or whatnot. It's pretty much the typical Android experience that you get on any other device out there. The thing that stands out most with the experience is found with the lock screen. Really appreciate it, even though it's a different approach, which is nice. So with normal Android devices, you swipe away to actually unlock the device. But when you do that, we have the ability to actually jump into several different applications. And it's also great that we have access to customizing that as well. But in order to unlock it, you just gotta hold down on the button itself. Even though there aren't any cool enhancements or secondary features with the experience, we're not all that sad just because this is a prepaid smartphone. It's pretty much what we expect. It's nice that it's very minimalist, pretty much stays put with the stock Android approach. And we really like how all the core foundational aspects of the platform are here. And you have also the wealth of Google branded applications on board. It's not the most cutting edge thing anymore, but for a prepaid smartphone, it's pretty much good enough here. The handset's powered by a dual-core 1.2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Plus processor, coupled with 1 GB of RAM. And for the most part, it does a decent job with its performance. You can tell here with the live wallpaper, it's handling it pretty well. But every now and then, we'll notice just some glitches or just some delay with its operation. And we just notice a lot of refreshing when you jump in and out of various applications. Seeing that it has a 4.5-inch display, it's more than ideal when it comes to typing up messages. Now, what we have here is just the stock Android keyboard, very spacious with its layout, and on top of that, super responsive too. When we flip it over to landscape, of course, it's still more than usable just because our fingers are able to encompass the entire layout. We're actually happy to find a refreshing music player here on the handset. Now, you could use the Google Play Music application if you want, or you have also the ZTE option as well. Now, the presentation functionality is expected, pretty much what you'd find on any other smartphone out there. As far as the audio quality with its speaker, it's definitely loud with its volume output, but it's lacking any commanding tones. It just sounds a little bit on the flat side. Luckily, there are some equalizer settings just to help better its output. Like we said, the processor on board the handset is pretty modest, nothing really demanding, but nevertheless, it's still good enough for things like watching high definition videos. And with the display, it's very ample in size, and you can tell with the playback, it's pretty smooth, barely any evidence of any lag or slowdown, so we can't be too critical about the experience. Anyone looking up to pick up this handset will be pleased to know that it actually has 4G LTE connectivity with AT&T, so that's nice, especially for a prepaid smartphone. And the performance of the web browser is pretty good too. It handles complex web pages like ours fairly well. You might see just a little bit delay with it loading up pages, but once it does that, it actually will scroll pretty quickly and smoothly. The camera UI on board the handset is pretty much the same stock one you find on any other Android smartphone. Now it has a decent mix of shooting modes and manual controls, which is nice. And as far as taking photos, it's fairly okay. It takes a little bit of time just adjusting the focus. Once you get that, you can snap the photo instantly. Now it doesn't take outstanding photos like some of the cream of the crop devices out there, but for what it's worth, we're pretty happy and content with what we get here with the 5 megapixel autofocus camera, the Z998. As long as there's sufficient amount of lighting, you're gonna get a good balance between details and colors. Very punchy in its tones, but when it comes to lower lighting situations, that's where we see its quality diminish heavily. For starters, it doesn't handle dynamic range that well. There's a lot of noise and has a slower capture, so it tends to come out a little bit blurry. Unfortunately, its 720p video recording quality is not that great. It's rather disappointing. First and foremost, just details. It's significantly softer looking, very faint, and the overall video has an underexposed look to it. There's also some presence of artifacting that comes in when you're panning very quickly. And lastly, the audio recording quality just has a little bit of a sharpness to it that doesn't sound too pleasing. Call quality is good enough to like. Now the earpiece itself puts out a decent amount of volume, so voices are more than audible, but on the other end line, our callers mentioned that our voice has a little bit of a distorted sound to it, and when we switch to using the speakerphone, its tone is just rather muted. With its beefy 27 milliamp hour battery, we have reported we get good battery life out of the handset. With heavy usage, we're able to get close to 12 hours of battery life, whereas with normal usage, we're able to get 1/2 days out of it. Now this handset is actually classified as a mid-range device, so if you want something better than an entry-level smartphone on the prepaid side and you want something with modest specs, this might appeal to you. So at $229 for the AT&T Z998, it's a pretty good deal, especially if you don't want to go with a cheapo Android-powered smartphone. If you want something that has a good combination between its performance and specs, it's a good option for you. On top of that, it comes with a Bluetooth headset, so you're getting some value in that price point. So if you guys want to learn more about the AT&T Z998, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. John V. Thanks for watching.